and welcome to Trusty Chords, the podcast which aims to celebrate music and those that create it. My name is Tyler Jenke, and for well over a decade now, I've been either a music journalist, an educator, a media commentator, or simply writing about music in some capacity. Over the years, I've managed to write for a number of pretty great publications. Alongside the likes of Beat, The Music, The Note, and many more, you might know me from my time spent as the editor of Rolling Stone Australia from 2019 to 2022. However, one thing I've always loved about being a journalist and being involved in the wider music industry is interviewing musicians, creatives, and whoever just wants to talk passionately about what drives them. I've conducted hundreds of interviews, and some of my favourite experiences have come from these one-on-one discussions. Whether it's interviewing hugely iconic names like the Beastie Boys, Sia, and Elvis Costello, producers like David Bottrell and Mark Opitz, or even actors, record store owners, and fellow journalists, one thing they all have in common is that they've got great stories to tell. That's where Trusty Chords comes into things. Trusty Chords is a music interview podcast which aims to do two things. Firstly, it hopes to have a frank and casual chat with an artist or creative individual, not necessarily promoting the newest release or spruiking their upcoming show, but discussing their craft and their own creative story. Then we'll look at an artist's own trusty chords. In the world of music theory, a basic chord is made up of the first, third, and fifth notes of a given scale. In this podcast, we extrapolate that into musicians' own lives, looking at one artist that changed their life, 3 albums that have impacted them greatly, and 5 songs they can always turn to. By doing this, I'm wanting to uncover a little more about what makes an artist tick and what sort of inspirations and influences are bubbling away under the surface. Trusty Chords will be launching pretty soon, and I hope it'll be a regular, or at least semi-regular undertaking. But in the meantime, if this sounds like something you're into, then I hope you'll join me in discovering more about music and those that create it.